Hey guys, this is Guile. So we got the new Wood Elf army book, and so far we're liking it. So me and my wife thought we'd put together a small 2,000 point Battleport report for you. She's been playing Wood Elves since about 2005, and she's really liking the improvements so far. This is our first game with the new book, so we're probably going to make some mistakes. Please be forgiving in the comment section. And if nothing else, this might give you an idea how the new book works. If you do have any questions or suggestions, please give us comments below. Now I'm going to move on to my army. I'm going to be using my dwarves. Leading my army today is my dwarf lord. He is on his shield bearers, and he's fully ruined out. He's toughness 5. He's got the 5+ invulnerable save. He's got the axe that gives him both cleaving and oh darn, I want to say I gave him armor piercing and flaming. He has a shield, and he also has the rune of preservation on him, helping to protect him from killing blow. Next to him I have my battle standard bearer. My normal one is off being painted right now, and he's only got the magic standard of grungy, giving all my guys a ward save around him. And I'm going to use his model to represent him, but this is going to be used as Grim Burlixon. Not painted yet, sorry about that. He's going to be in process. And those are my 3 HQs. Now on to my core. The backbone of my core, as usual, is going to be my Longbeards. They have a full command and shields. They're going to be backed up by a unit of 23 warriors with great weapons and shields. I don't normally give these guys shields, but with all that bow fire coming my way and armor piercing, I figured I needed all the help I could get in the armor save department just to get over to them. Next for my specials, I'm going to be bringing a full squad of hammerers to be the bodyguards for my lord. I also bought them shields, which I normally never do, but for the same reason, help protect a little bit against those arrows. I've got a unit of 10 quarrelers. These guys are basically going to be a bodyguard for my engineer, try to absorb some hits for him. And for my rare choices, I'm bringing a unit of Iron Drakes. Now, they're kind of short-range shooting. I'm not expecting a lot out of them, but considering how fast her army is, these are the one guys that can actually still move and shoot. And with their quick-to-fire, they have no penalties for doing so. So, even though a little pricey for a 2,000 point game, I went ahead and brought them just so I have something that can hopefully shoot at her fast-moving targets. And my last rare choice is an organ gun. Now, I know you're probably thinking a grudge thrower with the rune of accuracy and the rune of penetration or burning would be better. I'll agree with you. I'm bringing the organ gun mainly because I just love it, and I almost always bring it. Plus, it sometimes comes in handy when I'm having to deal with pathfinders coming up behind me a little bit too close where I don't want to be dropping that template. And since it's a 2,000 point game and we're still learning the rules, we did make an agreement before game that I would only bring 1 war machine. So that's why I'm only bringing my organ gun. So on to her army. Okay, so this is my wife's list that she just put together. She's going to be leading her army with a Spellweaver level 4, equipped with the Acorn of Ages. She's going to be running a captain who's been upgraded with a steed, and he's a standard bearer. And he is going to be using a magic standard that I'm finding right now. The Hunter King. Standard of the Hunter King. She's got a level 2 Spell Singer with Kalingar's Staff. And she's going to be using 1 Waystalker with the Bow of Loren. She's going to be using 10 Waywatchers with no upgrades. She's got 10 Scouts. Okay, with True Flight arrows. She's going to be running a huge unit of 16 Glade Riders. I tell you, these guys are scaring me a bit. And they're equipped with Arcane Bodkins. So I'm expecting some pain here. And I've never been hit by something this heavy before. She's going to be running 30 Glade Guard, all equipped with True Flight arrows. So that's going to be a lot of armor saves coming to me. And anyone who plays this game knows the best way to make people fail armor saves is make people take armor saves. So yeah, this should be fun. So we're going to set up the table. We're going to be setting it up with random terrain. As much as any Wood Elf player would like to cover the entire table with force, I'm still going to make her roll random terrain for my... I have a chance here. And we'll be back once it's set up. So that was a very interesting setup. We got a lot of mysterious terrain. This is going to be counting as a haunted mansion. We're going to just say it's a haunted graveyard. This is just a normal structure near it. That's the sinister statue. Normal building. And on this side we have one mysterious forest, a weirding well, average everyday random fence, a wizard's tower, and just a couple buildings with an obstacle next to it. Alright, so we're going to roll for deployment, and I'll show you how things look afterwards. Well, we've already had some action even before the game's begun, so let me go over deployment. Actually, I'll go over the dwarves first. I have my quarrelers here in the fence, giving them a little bit of cover next to the organ gun. I've got my general and standard bearer and his hammers there, giving his leadership bubble and the reroll leadership tests. I got my longbeards here, taking advantage of that, plus giving their reroll panic test to the warriors next to them. And then, even though it's tempting fate a little bit, I put my fire drakes out front, mainly to give me a 12-inch bubble, pushing back her scout deployment. She placed a unit of scouts just outside that 12 inches here, outside one of the forests. She vanguarded her glade riders up, and then had a special roll where she did a strength 3 hit on my general, which failed to wound luckily, but that could have done me some harm before the game even started. She got her way watches here just 12 inches in front of my shooters here. I don't know if there's a Hail of Doom arrow in there or not. Oh, actually, I know there isn't, but still, way watchers are just hurtful when they shoot at you, so I expect some damage there. And her level 2 wizard, who has the Laura Heavens, is hiding back there by himself. And her level 4 life wizard is back with her huge block of glade riders. Glade guard. Also, before the game started, she placed her one free force that all Wood Elves get in her deployment zone, and she used the Acorn of Ages to drop 3 more normal forests in the battlefield. They actually started out in my deployment zone, but they all scattered into no man's land, which kind of helped me out a little bit. Now, we roll to see who gets first turn. Let's see what happens.
It's movement.
Wood Elves get first turn, and my wife is now going to kill me. So let's see what happens. So movement phase, the Way Watchers move forward into the force to threaten my dwarves here. Glade Riders move forward a little bit, reform to get a better bead on my Iron Drakes. The Standard Bearer jumped out of the unit and is now hiding behind the Glade Guard. The Mage moved up a little bit, safe because he's kind of out of sight or just kind of out of the way of everybody. Scouts moved into this forest, giving them soft cover and the Forest Stalker bonus, also against my Fire Drakes. The Glade Guard, realizing they were too far to be able to get anything, have went ahead and moved 5 inches forward, and they're going to shoot whatever they have range at. That's going to be a lot of shots, and this is going to hurt. So now on to Wood Elf Magic Phase. I have a lot more respect for the Wood Elf Magic Phase than I used to. Goodbye, Ethelred. Hello, everything else. So I just got hit with Chain Lightning, which managed to hit this unit. Took out 3 warriors, bounced over that unit and took out 3 units, and thank God it stopped before it bounced over this unit. This tells me I need to spread out a little bit. She then managed to cast Throne of Vines on her level 4 wizard, and then immediately casted, buffed up, Flesh to Stone on the scouts, which I was able to dispel. So on to Wood Elf shooting and the pain. Momentary break in the action as the vile Woodelves have summoned some sort of strange creature to attack the battle zone. And my dwarves shake in fear. Oh, the inhumanity as he attacks that poor cottage. But back to the action. Not good, but not as bad as it could have been. The Glade Riders, 16 shots into my Iron Drakes, but they got a lot of hits. They had like 9 hits, but not a single wound. So I had a big sigh of relief there. Then the Scout showed them up by managing to kill 2 of my Iron Drakes. Moving on to his Way Watchers, they fired in and killed off half of my Quarrelers. They also did a special snipe attack after my character, but luckily he rolled a 1 to hit, and I lived to fight another day. Now on to my movement phase, and we'll see what happens. So my wife has just corrected me that I called her he 3 times there, and I'm in trouble. So anytime I say he for the rest of this battle report, automatically put an S in front of that. Thank you. Bye-bye. That was a fast movement phase. So Quarrelers are staying still, as is the cannon. My Thunderers and my Longbeards are moving up. Yeah, these guys have 2 new abilities that I'm not liking. One of them is they can multi-shot, 2 shots each. Or they can choose to make a single shot and ignore all armor saves. So they must die, hopefully hideously. My Warriors moved up to threaten the Glade Riders, who are going to look at them, laugh, and run around where I can't see them and shoot me in the butt. But hell, I gotta do something. And my Iron Drakes, wherever they are, they're there, moved forward to try to put a little bit of hot lead into the Glade Riders. Don't think much is going to happen from it, but dang it, I gotta try. So on to my rather exciting magic phase, where I'm going to attempt to dispel the only spell in play. So here we go. So that was my dispel attempt. I think Throne of Vines is successfully dispelled. Alright, now on to my pathetic shooting phase. The Quarrelers, the Organ Gun, and Grim Burlickson managed to shoot up the Pathfinders, killed most of them, and the 4 remaining broke and ran past the Watchtower. Got an 11 for a leadership test and 11 for a run move, so those guys are off like a bullet. Not as good over here. My Fire Dragons lit up the Glade Riders, but only managed to kill 2. So I see a heck of a lot of arrows coming my way. Plus these guys on my flank. I'm getting a little nervous over here. So off to Wood Elf, turn 2. Pathfinders managed to rally. The mage is making a beeline for the Wizard's Tower, trying to get those extra spells in his repertoire. And the cowardly, stinky little elfy turkeys managed to run over here on my flank, or my Iron Drakes, and nobody else can see them, and I'm going to put some more pins in my dwarven rump. So we'll see what happens. Oh, and those guys just moved up a little bit to try to get into range to actually become part of this battle. Now we move into the magic phase, and the evil beast of the dark forest is still lurking, watching our models with devilish glee. So the level 2 caster tried to throw chain lightning again on my unit, but failed the casting roll by 2, so no spells from him. Followed by her Wizard Lord firing Flesh to Stone on the Glade Riders, but that was dispelled by Dwarven Stubbornness. So as my wife just said, on to the plinking time. All is said and done, the Glade Guard managed to kill 3 of the Dwarf Warriors with shooting. And the Glade Riders over here, combined with the Scouts, managed to completely annihilate the Iron Drakes that were once there, leaving me a very little shooting left. Now off to Dwarf turn 2. Dwarf movement phase. So my hammers moved up a little bit to try to threaten these guys. My Longbeards took a position on the Weirding Well, drank from its waters, and lose all actions for the rest of this turn. They got stupid. And my warriors with great weapons kind of position themselves here, facing the onslaught of fire from here, so their shields will be in play. I also moved my standard from the hammerers over here, so the Master Runner Grungy will give me that ward save against all shooting attacks I've been forgetting for the whole game. So hopefully I remember it in the next turns. No bitterness here. Now actually there's no spells in play, so I'm going to skip the magic phase and go straight to shooting. Wish me luck. Dwarf shooting was a little bit better this time. The crossbowmen managed to kill one more of the Way Watchers rather than Pathfinders, although I think Pathfinders is a cooler name. And the Oregon gun had line of sight to the Glade Riders that were there and managed to kill 11 of them, leaving only 3 left that are running for it right now as we speak. But 9, 12. I think they still have enough left where they can rally. We'll have to check on that. Alright, so on to Woodelf turn 3. The Pathfinders and the level 2 Wizard have both ran behind the barricade and are getting some cover from my shooting. While over here, the Scouts ran into the forest also to try to take care of their Forest Stalker role, get the benefit plus the cover. The Battle Standard Bearer ran back to join the unit of Glade Guard to provide some heavy fire down on my dwarves. And the Glade Riders are still running for their lives. They ran through the Glade Guard, but they made their panic test and are now currently in the forest. So on to Elf Magic phase. So the level 2 Wizard managed to cast Tree Singing pretty much on this forest here, which I'm just barely in, so I took 2d6 strength 4 hits. I got some lucky rolls on my side, and I managed to only lose one of the hammers. He then proceeded to fire chain lightning at my longbeards, actually no, at my hammers, but he wasn't able to make the cast, she wasn't able to make the cast, sorry hon, she wasn't able to make the casting cost, and rolled 3 1s for magic, so that pretty much took care of that. So on to, don't show that. You guys don't want to know what's going on over here. Anyway, so on to her shooting phase. Okay, so the character in the unit here fired at my Battle Standard Bearer, and luckily for me, he didn't wound. And the other 2 Pathfinders, the Glade Guard, and the Scouts all fired into the Longbeards and managed to kill 2. And I made the rest of the saves. Now that I'm remembering to use the standard or grungy, it's really helping a lot more, giving me the double saves. So now on to Dwarf turn 3. Dwarf movement phase. So the hammers have advanced for basically everything just ran forward. Real quick, I'm going to try drinking from the Rearding Well, and I got a 2, which gives me some wounds back. I'll roll that in a second, and I'll be moving on. No spells in play for me to dispel, so I'm going to be moving off to the shooting phase. So Oregon gun fired at the Scouts. With all the penalties, I ended up needing 6s a hit. I did manage to kill 2 of them with my 10 shots I got. And my crossbows fired over at the Pathfinders and did absolutely nothing. I think the bolts landed around this area. And the Rearding Well actually gave me 3 of my guys back, so they're not quite full strength, but they're doing better. And off to Elf turn 4. So Wood Elf movement phase is over. The Pathfinders and the level 2 Way Watchers stayed still. The Glade Riders with the Glade Guard with the level 4 Wizard moved forward to get me into range of some dastardly spell that she didn't tell me. And the Scouts also stayed still, I'm assuming, so they can all take better aim and start killing some dwarves with shooting. Now on to her magic phase. The winds of magic were not kind this phase. Wood Elf only had 5 dice total, including a channel that she made. Dwarves only had 2. She hit the hammers with a chain lightning, which killed 1. which then bounced to the Longbeards and killed 2, which then bounced to the Warriors and killed 2 more. And now off to her shooting phase. So the Scouts and the Glade Guard lit up my Dwarf Warriors and managed to knock me down to just 11 models left. The Pathfinders went after the Longbeards. The character attempted to snipe out my Standard Bearer but failed to wound. And the other 2 Waywatchers managed to kill 1 more Longbeard. So I'm going to try to get 1 more drink from the Weirding Well as I'm running for those Glade Guards. We're moving into Dwarf turn 4. In a Dwarf movement phase, the Warriors with great weapons managed to charge the Scouts. They were just barely in my line of sight. He did a stand and shoot, managed to kill 1 Dwarf, not enough for a panic test, and I made my charge. So they're now engaged. We're going to see how all these new special rules for the woods helps in the close combat. My Longbeards moved just enough so they could keep the fountain within 3 inches of the guy in back and managed to get all their wounds back from the Weirding Well. I'm going to hate to leave that thing. My Hammers are advancing on the Pathfinders, if nothing else, to get them to start moving around again. And now off to my shooting. I'm going to skip my magic. There's no spells for me to dispel. The crossbows failed to do any wounds at all, but the organ gun managed to kill what was left of the Pathfinders, the Waywatchers and the Waylord. So on to close combat. So close combat, I hit the Scouts. They unfortunately completely missed all their attacks and weren't able to do any wounds at all. And I managed to wipe them out exactly the amount of wounds I needed. So I just repositioned. And at this point, we have called it. It's getting kind of late. And with only the 1 level 2 wizard and the 1 unit of Glade Guard left, she didn't think she had enough to take on the remaining of my dwarves. Thank you guys for watching. Still, even though she had a hard time, I think the new Woodelves have a lot of tricks up their sleeves. We haven't tried a game with their close combat units. Now that the Dryads can rank up and get combat res, I think they're going to be a little more nasty than they used to be. The Treekin lost that strength, but at least they're cheaper in points, so I still think the Woodelves have got a lot of neat tricks up their sleeves, so we're going to have to try them. I'm definitely more impressed with their magic phase. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching. Leave any comments below. Subscribe if you like.